Hey, Mr. Run. Sorry I'm not inside. um, that's an interesting video response that you just sent me. I think that probably what's more interesting to me, and this has kind of come up in the past, is not as much the question that you ask, but why you asked it. I want to show you something else. I'm going to show you something that's prehistoric. I'm going to show you something from the dawn of time. Uh, Believe you me. Look at this. Now you can kind of make out that that doesn't have traditional scales. It has bony plates. So that's before the fish developed, individual scales. That's a dinosaur, a living dinosaur. Oh, Keela, pay attention. So, but let's cover the question. Um, why do we express our angers in the way that we do? Um, why is it outside? Why does sometimes, like when someone goes into a business, finds out they can't get something, and then they freak out at the counter person? That's not the counter person's fault. Freaking out's not going to change anything. I used to cook. Well, I guess I was a baker. I guess I wasn't very good. I used to bake muffins for a living. I didn't do it for very long, but I was making some muffins, and this person came in and said, "Hey, I want a blueberry." And the person behind the counter says, "Oh, we just sold like 2 dozen blueberries at once, so there's no more blueberries." And the guy looked at me and was like, "Hey, well, are you cooking up some? Are you baking up some cooking? Are you baking up some blueberries?" And I'm like, "No, not at the moment. I don't expect to have those for a while yet." And the guy freaked out, shouted at everybody, said he's never coming back to that store again. "I'll get a blueberry muffin down the street." And I'm like, "Really? Can you see Duke Nukem going on about that kind of thing?" No, he'd be embarrassed. "Duke, why'd you shoot up that muffin shop?" "They didn't have blueberry, so they had to eat shield." Yeah. So, but I don't think, I don't think, though the three people we're talking about, I don't think are of that variety of temper. I suspect that there is boundary issues going on. And, a lot of people actually, like, setting up boundaries is hard. Especially when other people don't necessarily see a good reason to respect other people's boundaries. Sometimes you can just flat out tell somebody, "Hey, look, I'd prefer it if you didn't, do this or say this, directing at me, like about my behavior or something like that. Like, I just, that's none of your business," kind of thing. Or "I'm on it, so you don't need to go on about it to me." And some people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna disregard that." And then when they disregard that, they get eventually. Cause sometimes you have to lose your temper. Um, I hate to say that that's true, but it's true. There's good times to get angry, and it's not always a bad thing to express anger. It's really important, I think, when I'm angry, is that I need to clearly say exactly what it is that's upsetting me and what I would hope to see as a change so that what's upsetting me doesn't happen again. Someone told me once they saw me get angry at somebody and they're like, "You kind of become like a school teacher when you get angry." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, class is in session." I'm like, I need to educate this person on exactly what they did that was upsetting, why it was upsetting, why it's in their best interest not to do it again in the future, just for them and for everyone around them. I mean, one guy I was talking to, I remember, and I was angry at him, and I was explaining to him, it's like, well, this kind of behavior is the kind of behavior that's going to eventually end up with, you're not going to have anybody in your life to count on and support you in any way. and he was taken aback by that. He was cussing out a woman in a restaurant, and I escorted him out with his party, and the women in his party were defending him. I'm like, hey, that's really great, and dude, you're really lucky to have friends that would, women friends especially, that would support you when you just cursed out a woman for doing her job, and doing her job in a polite and professional manner. But, you know, continuing to act like that, you're eventually not going to have any women friends that are going to want to defend you. They're going to, like, he has a problem with women, or he has a problem with anger, or he just has a problem. You know, we can't go out to dinner with this guy because we're likely to get kicked out. But let's go back to why I think it's interesting about, you know, what can I do? What should I do? And here's the interesting bit, because this is almost, I'll just say it, like, if you feel that you should do something, and it's like you feel you should say something, feel you should do something, or feel the need to interact with something or someone or a group of people, I would encourage you to follow up on that, to do what you feel that you want to do. And then if that turns out that was wrong, though I trust your judgment, you have good judgment. And then later, when you feel that, you know, maybe that wasn't how you'd want to do it again in the future, you know that because you acted on your feelings of the moment. I think some people are so worried about responding or acting that they never really actually come up to the fact of whether or not it's an actual good idea through practice. They come up through that as a I do that because something in my mind has warned me off it, or I don't act through because I'm afraid or are too cautious. And you know, those are good things. It's good to listen to yourself and follow your caution, but also it's good to pursue the things that you want to do and the way you want to act. And you know, when you feel like you need to step up, you've been called, and it's time to dust off your shield and oil the sword or your scabbard or whatever, and go to war. Though if you were to ask me, I would say these three folk could handle it themselves. And I know you called Steel Worldwide a troll, and there is a lot to what you say. I don't think of him as a troll, though. He has a really inappropriate sense of humor and style. But I think that there's something else going on there with Steel Worldwide. I think that there is a. I think I've talked about. Oh, you're not. I mean, there is an author that I really like, and this author had an idea, and a lot of people claim that she's a genius for this idea. She would write a story about something simple, and that simple thing would repeat with different variations over and over and over again. And she thought that something amazing would come out of this never-ending repetition with never-ending variety of the same thing, if you could imagine that. The same thing happening over and over again, but a kind of a slightly varied, yet never really kind of like totally leaving, like, you know, that one concept or conversation or situation. And so Steel Worldwide reminds me of that. And so I think there's some sort of like obnoxious, stunning kind of artistry going on there. So I hope you don't send thousands of people to have his channel banned. And I wouldn't know Dorf or B2M Greatest if it wasn't for Steel Worldwide. So it's kind of like, you know, Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings telling Frodo that any kind of retribution directed against Gollum might not be the best for how the future will unfold. You know, we all have our parts to play. And a question to you, and you don't have to cover it right away, but this is something I've been thinking about you, because I've been watching your channel go boom, and actually your style go boom. And so I wanted to ask you, how has, and let's start with video games, how has video games affected your life, and how has YouTube affected your life? And I was gonna like I gotta hurry up and finish this, but now I'm like, we could talk for 15 minutes now. Oh man, that's too long. The Viking guy, Drew the Viking guy, is doing this month 60-second videos all month long. I think that that's awesome, and I'd like to try that. But you know, 15 minutes. Whew, let's not go there. I'll go there if I have to. Not today, I hope. All right, man. So, peace out. Fantastic work again, Larry LaDouche. Genius. And I'll talk to you later. Stay interesting, Runaway 5, and peace out.